You join me now leaning against a cairn in a field in Dumfries and Galloway as I look out, a mixture of hippies, musicians, mainly hippies, and there are a load of children over to the side here being trained in the art of fire juggling or something or other of that nature, and there's a kind of a wicker pyramid being constructed, I assume, to be burnt as some sort of an effigy this evening. Of course, folks, I'm at Knockengorroch. Yes, it's me. It's the World Ceilidh, and it's a very special edition of the Garden Sessions. A very special episode indeed, and joining me, not just the life and soul of the Scottish festival folk season, that being the hills of Dumfries and Galloway, but Carolyn Ona Scott is here as well. Carolyn?
Indeed, I'm hoping that the weather's going to clear up later. We had some beautiful couple of sunny days leading up to the festival, getting the longhouse set for all of the folky music that's going to be happening over the next 2 days.
And if I'm not mistaken, Carolyn, you are actually in charge of the longhouse this year.
I am in charge of the longhouse this year and putting on some sets and making sure the sessions happen until the early hours. It's a grand old job.
She's very dedicated, though she went to bed last night and left me in charge of it. There is so much music to be had. Walter Strauss. There's a fire show, is what I've heard, and well, I know there's a fire show because I spoke to the man who's training the children earlier on, Hutch, and he told me all about it.
Well, this year we've got a big pyramid. I guess in some ways it can be signifying many things. I mean, a pyramid is it has many meanings across the world, and I think this year we're associating it with a pyramid is a union between many points and coming together, and in the respect of love and the goddess, this is going to be burnt, and this is going to be the high point of
Tying it all back to the goddess all the time.
Tying it back to the goddess.
Any particular goddess, or
the goddess of the earth? Because we have God, as in many Christians believe in one God, and I know I'm not a Christian, so I wouldn't understand that. But many people today are trying to tie back into the goddess. Goddess is Mother Nature, Mother Earth.
as in the earth as one.
Yeah. And we're trying to invigorate the soul, trying to open up some eyes to respect where we come from. You know, give back to nature. And I know in burning wood, some people may struggle to see that, but this is all wood that has
Tell that to the goddess.
Indeed. But no, we're actually doing her a favour because we're clearing the brush, because none of the wood we cut down from trees. It's all wood that has been lying on the floor.
Oh, cool.
You know, it's all dead wood already, and so that in that way we're clearing the brush for other things to grow underneath it. So
it's all above board.
It's all above board. It's all about love.
But the moral of the story is there's plenty to keep yourselves entertained with in a sort of lovely kind of hippie burning things kind of way.
Take your shoes off, get your feet into the mud, squeeze it between your toes.
Cheers, Hutch.
No worries, sir. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the Longhouse. My name's Iona Marshall, and this song's called Lifeboat. Lifeboat fade out on the horizon, while 3,000 worlds unfold every second given. Is your life buying time to sell me fables? My time's a priceless peril, boy, my ears will disable. There's blessings in the skies, can you feel them? There's blessings in the skies, can you feel them? When facing yourself as you cast your moon shadow, as you cast your moon shadow. Jigsaw overboard on stormy water, a satellite view of Mother Earth breaking at the corners. Is your life eating away at those pieces? It's no puzzle at all. They're coated in oil. It's no puzzle at all. They're coated in oil. Will you eat money when it's gone? Will you be saving in your grave? Or coughing up the pieces, wishing your God had not been man-made. Greed's turning the world into a tick-tock time bomb. What values your reason? This is my list that breaks stone. You see, my time's a priceless peril, boy, and I am
Well, standing outside the Acoustic Village Weirdigans tent and longhouse after what was a nice, quiet sort of early evening gig with Iona Marshall in the longhouse. And I'm joined by Iona now. How did you feel that went?
I feel that went pretty well, I would say, all things considered. It's a lovely vibration at this festival, and the Longhouse. I was looking around a few of the options for places to play, and I chose the Longhouse, so it went well and it was a good place to play.
By far the nicest venue, except obviously when there was a chap in who was a little over exuberant perhaps.
The man that went to the fishmonger.
Yeah, you said something about fish and the sea and energy, and hey, it's a Knockengorroch. I mean, it's to be expected.
But that was fine in the end because I responded with a suitable song that tied in with his trip to the fishmonger.
Don't know if you noticed that connection myself. When did you arrive at Knockengorroch then?
Oh, I just got here on Friday night.
And has there been anything that stood out for you thus far?
That stood out. Kawali Sham Sufis were amazing. I love world music. And
they were the guys that were playing this morning, am I right?
They were playing later in the afternoon. Early this afternoon.
Seemed like this morning to many of us.
Time zone, it's all wrong. It's gone wrong.
Time zone, Knockengorroch.
So there was I played this song earlier when I played on the shielding stage, but it's a cool story. There was a man in the United States, in California, Northern California, in early 1900s. Yeah, there was more than one man there even. But there was a Native American, people called him Ishi, and he was really the last Native American to be living the old ways without having been either put on a reservation or integrated into the culture or annihilated. And he survived in the old ways by being in hiding for 40 years. And he literally hid from the white man for 40 years. And then in 1911, he wandered into a mining camp in Northern California and was put into the jail, the county jail there. And there was big news that the last wild savage had been found, and kind of a crazy thing. But an anthropologist from San Francisco found out about him and came up and brought him down to San Francisco and befriended him. And he lived out his last 5 years in the Anthropology Museum in San Francisco. I think he was like 50, something like that. Really? He died young because he got tuberculosis because he didn't have the defenses for it, But he was this really generous character who shared his ways with the white people in the museum as kind of like a exhibit, But really shared, they would go to the hospital and sing to the dying people, sing the Yahi healing songs from his people, and I just thought he was spectacular. So I wrote him this little. Actually went where he was. I wandered around the canyons where he was from and wrote him this little homage, this little. Yeah.
Here's to him.
Here's to Ishi. Yeah, Ishi it is. Beautiful soul. Mountain of fire, land of the earth. Your feet are light, alone in a canyon, a bird in the night. was the only man. Last year he breathed. The silent ghost before the hunter's hand, floating down among the dead. Stone to steel age he was cast. Museum man they paid to view. Graceful bow behind the glass, shared his hand, sang Yahid song. Their spirits were when they died, and their ride through a hole in the sky. Now you go free and forever fire, blood of the yard. Wakanupa, so long, Wakanupa.
Walter Strauss.
I'm joined by Walter Strauss, who has just played the last hour of the Longhouse sets in the afternoon. How are you, Walter? How are you enjoying the festival?
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm a happy man. I'm happy. Got my feet on the ground here at Knockengorroch.
And is this your first time coming to Knockengorroch?
Yeah, it is. First time Knockengorroch. I came to Scotland once for 2 days, just played 2 quick little things, and this time I'm here for a week or so, so it's great. It's great.
It's great. How do you feel it compares to festivals you've been to in the States? It's California you're from, you were saying during your set. How does it compare to any of the festivals you have over there like it?
It's kind of similar to some festivals in the States. It's maybe a little bit more raw, you know, but beautiful. You know, it's a lot of good spirit. A lot of in the States festivals and Canada. Actually, my favorite festivals are in North America or in Canada. They're a lot bigger than this, but they're great scenes, you know, and real eclectic like this. One way that this is different than the States is you got a lot more different kinds of music, whereas in the States it tend to be like a folk festival or, you know, or something that's got more of like a hypno, you know, whatever vibe going on. So but it's similar in the feel, you know.
It's a unique little place, and indeed we have this fantastic folk music venue, the Longhouse, which is a very unique venue. Did you enjoy that compared to being on the stage and then the other tent you were playing earlier on? How did you find our Longhouse?
I enjoyed it more. I enjoyed playing in here more than I did the stage. It's, you're intimate. You're sitting with everybody and able to just relate as close up, and I like that a lot.
And are you staying here for the whole weekend? Is there any hot picks you're going to be checking out later on tonight?
I need to see what there is. There was something earlier on that I just caught the tail end of. The West. He sounded like he was Malian, and he was playing with a trio, an electric band. I don't know who they were, but I'll check out the Orb. And I heard there's a wildfire thing that goes on, and so I'm here for the rest of the weekend. Happy about it.
Thank you for joining us in the garden sessions. We're going to sit by the fire for another 5 minutes before hitting the main stage for the main acts of the Saturday evening. Thanks.
You're welcome.
They call them Scarrymore, raising the roof as the sun drops down behind the horizon on this penultimate night of Knockengorroch World Ceilidh 2009. I am standing here with Carolyn and Ona Scott in amongst a veritable ocean of traditional music fans, folkies, or maybe just hippies. I'm not entirely sure. The ground is very muddy. One last cheer for Scarrymore going out there. But yes, there's a wee chill in there, but all in all, it's fairly mild. Carolyn, what are these surroundings that we have around us?
It's gorgeous. It's as it's just getting dark, everything's coming to life now. We have
You can see the lights from all the stalls there.
Yeah, we have obviously your Muttley's crepes, which is my first stop every morning. Very important to get your crepe in there before you start.
I haven't had a crepe this year. I haven't had one.
You're going to have to fix that tomorrow morning.
2009 has been a crepeless year.
You need to fix that tomorrow. But along here we also have the lovely cabaret stage, which has been kind of an open mic venue, and it's seen loads of great acts going in there every day, and it's open until 3 in the morning. Next to it we have various little jewellery stalls and children's workshops. There's a cinema. I believe they're actually going to start tonight a thing of rewriting scripts for music scripts for movies by just getting a load of musicians to sit and jam while there's a movie on in the background.
Is Hollywood on the phone?
No, they'll be kept at Knockengorroch, I'm sure. But nice little artsy village has been built in the Knockengorroch Valley, and what a lovely place for it. And
Indeed.
The best place, of course, being the Longhouse at the very end of the valley. You get to sit by a fire, the warmest place in the festival, listening to some of the best musicians here all day.
It says the warmest place in the festival, but I've been backstage and they have gas heaters there.
Well, this is true, this is true.
It's a bit less traditional once you get back there.
Actually, I think it might be time for us to nip backstage and take advantage of those heaters.
Yes, having just mentioned that, yeah. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner.
Outside is inside now, but everything's the same. Life without friction is easy, just need to find a
outside is the inside, downside is the upside. The sky is the ground, the high card is the low card. Try not to try too hard, please. The birds are just the bees. Go crazy at your ease. The
It's a Sunday afternoon, feels like Sunday morning, certainly. And I've made my way, a small pilgrimage, which I've been meaning to make all weekend, to the zine stall here at Knockengorroch, which from the outside is just a lot of photocopied zines and so on. But then when you go back, it's probably the most high-tech area of Knockengorroch, other than the stage, obviously. There's a full computer station here, a photocopier, and I'm joined by Jay and Steve, who are manning the stall. Jay, first of all, if you could give us an idea of what the zine stall, what purpose it serves here at Knockengorroch.
Well, we produce a zine magazine at the end of the festival. So we're collecting articles, drawings, doodles, any thoughts, information people want to put through those. We also run a daily news sheet, and we've got a couple of typewriters, a couple of laptops. People come along and make submissions. And as you already said, we have magazines and stores. People can make their own zines. We've got free leaflets to give away.
What would be a sort of a good example of a headline on the daily zine?
Well, I have a couple of publications in front of me. The first day's headline was "Van stuck in mud," which is not an uncommon occurrence. We could use that one every day. There was no headline from yesterday's newsletter. I think the highlight was "My Hands" by Rosie, age 4, with little hand printing.
So what's the process to get an article into the zine then? How does it get from mind to page?
Literally just turn up and share your thoughts. As I said, we've got enough materials here in little workstations. Cut up old newspapers, do whatever you want, bit of art, bit of fun. We'll try and squeeze it in.
Steve is also running the zine stand here, along with a few others. First of all, I understand it's connected in some way to the Forest Cafe in Edinburgh.
I think so, yeah. I mean...
Unofficially?
Unofficially, but kind of officially.
There's not much official connected with the Forest Cafe anyway.
It does have a link to the Forest Free Press, and there's lots of stuff like from Forest Publishing and stuff here. So, but yeah, and most of the people, we're all sort of hanging out there. So yeah, I guess the people and the things connect it somehow.
Yeah, it's a kind of a nice sort of. I'd like to say space age, but the sort of hippie rugs kind of defy that description. This sort of tent, which is kind of, how would you describe it?
The geodome, the geodesic dome. Geodesic dome. Apparently, Buckminster Fuller was a proponent of the geodesic dome, and yeah.
It's very warm.
Yeah, it's kind of like a greenhouse actually. We were thinking about maybe staying here and growing banana trees or something.
You're doing screen printing as well, you were saying. As with everything in Knockengorroch, there is someone sleeping just in front.
Before we came, we exposed the screen in the Forest Silk screen rooms, which are kind of half open to the public at the moment, but hopefully going to be more and more open. And a lot of people this weekend have said, oh yeah, I'm going to have to come and talk to you about doing some screen printing.
And this is for the final zine, is it, of the whole festival?
We've got some nice paper, and hopefully we're going to get this, do a few prints today at some point. A lot of people, we were going to have a workshop, but it didn't work out that way. But some people said they were interested and they might show up, and then we could just do something with stencils and see how that goes. Yeah, it's quite tricky in this sort of environment to do it properly, but it's possible, and it definitely works. Just a couple of people holding the screen down, one person pulling the ink through, that sort of thing.
That's a nice wee place when they go in here. It's strange that sort of undoubtedly the most hippie section of the festival is the place where there's a scanner and 2 laptops and a photocopier.
We're sorry for letting technology permeate in slowly into the...
I shouldn't have given it away. Well, I believe that you guys are going to interview me now, so I'll switch off the microphone. And one zine for a zine. I am joined by Chris, who's just taken in the music, been dancing to a bit of the tunes that were playing in the interim there. You were working on the silent disco. The silent disco, for those who don't know, is what it's like a nightclub but with headphones. Everyone wears headphones. Anyway, what have you been enjoying today?
I went for a big walk up the hills earlier on. It was good. Went for a big walk.
A walk up the hill?
Yeah, went and drank some beer up the hill, had some wine. It's a beautiful setting, it's amazing. It's the most beautiful festival in Britain, definitely.
Undoubtedly. And are you going to be doing some more dancing this afternoon, do you think?
I'd imagine I'll be doing quite a lot of dancing today, yeah.
You have a pint in your hand and a festival all around.
Yes.
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
I'm joined by Jai, Corina and Mike and Catherine and then there as well, who are just sitting outside the Weirdigans Cafe, just taking in the Sunday afternoon here at the Knockengorroch. And can you tell me a wee bit about your festival experience thus far and the kind of the mood you have here out on this bench?
Very dancey.
Very dancey and sunny and happy.
Yeah.
And you have a guitar here, so you're sort of playing some tunes out here as well?
Yeah, we're just making up some tunes.
We come up with a tune, do you want to hear it?
Please, yes.
Okay. Knock, knock, Knockengorroch. Knock, knock, Knockengorroch. Knock, knock, Knockengorroch. So we haven't quite.
I see where you're going. Yeah, it's Catherine. How's your festival been thus far?
It's been good. I've been sampling lots of tea, but this is the nicest yet. Just plain mint. Yeah.
So if you were to advise anyone, Weirdigans, go mint.
Go mint. Yeah.
Thanks very much, guys. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of the day. I say sun, but it's kind of. Oh, did you see the guy hang gliding in earlier on? By the way.
Yeah, he almost landed in the river. Yeah.
Does anyone know whether that was just an elaborate way to sneak in, or whether it was?
I'm wondering about that, really.
I mean, if it is, fair enough.
I think get in for free just for
I think it was Ronnie Size actually.
This is an Irish one, this one, and and it comes from the time of the Great Famine in Ireland, when a huge amount of the men in Ireland moved across to Scotland and England and some of them the New World in order to find work, because there was just nothing in Ireland. And the result was a hugely disproportionate number of women left over in Ireland. So you had this kind of strange early arranged marriage kind of situation whereby a lot of very poor young men were married off to slightly more wealthy women for takings and for kind of small bits of land and things like that. And this is one of the songs that came out of that. There's quite a few of them actually in the Irish tradition. I think it's probably one of the best. As I rode out on a bright May morning to view the meadows and the flowers gay, whom should I spy but my own true lover, as she lay under yon willow tree. I took off my hat and I did salute her. I did salute her most courageously, but when she turned around, oh, all the tears they fell from her, saying, "False young man, ye have deluded me." A diamond ring I owe, I gave you, a diamond ring to wear on your right hand, but the vows you made an Mari Allah say atat lalan. Well, if I married Allah say atat lalan, my lord, then it's that I'll ruin till the day I die. For when misfortune falls, sure no man can shun it. I was blindfolded, sure I'll never deny. Now at night when I go to my slumber, the thoughts of my true love run in my mind. But when I turn around to embrace my darling, instead of gold, sure it's brass I find. And I wish that the Queen would call home her army to the lowest Indies, America and Spain, and every man to his wedded woman, in hopes that you and I might meet again. As I wrote out.
Knockengorroch is pretty much about music, camping and Weirdigans Cafe. It's for 5 years it's been with the festival, keeping everyone in teas, coffees, etc. and all sorts of little sort of guarana morsels and things 24 hours a day. Dave, I mean there's a few other stalls along the festival which do teas and coffees and things, but Weirdigans really sort of feels like it's actually part of the festival. It's I don't know, it's almost inbuilt with the main stage.
It probably gets, we start to put it up when they start to make the main stage. We get here on the Sunday. Most other traders maybe get here Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday morning. Because it's basically a quite old tent. It takes a lot of putting up, and then the infrastructure, the kitchen and all the lovely seating, benches, the works. It takes a long time to put it together, but it means that we're part of the festival in a way that if you just dropped in half an hour of setting up a new fast tent, you wouldn't really be part of it in the same way.
Can you take us to the place that you were when you sort of sat down and thought, outdoor cafe, that's what's going to happen?
No. It's maybe 25 years ago, being a new festivaler then, I think this is my 25th year of doing such things, I did think about catering. But actually I joined into Weidigans after a year. My partner, wife, Em, is one of the founders. I joined in right at the end of the first year, and effectively have been more and more a part of it ever since.
And you do other festivals other than Knockengorroch?
Yes, yeah, we've got about 6 more this season. They're not spaced out evenly with a nice rest between. We tend to have a big break. We've got nothing now until right at the start of July, and then we've got 2 on a run and then a break and then 3 on a run, and that's going to be hard work.
Winter must just seem like a long empty space.
Winter is a long empty space compared to the craziness of the festival scene. We really like to get away from it all in the winter because we have so much concentrated life and work in the summer.
Obviously, I'm sure that you know what answer you'd be expected to give here, but if you had to say a favourite of the festivals that you do attend.
It's not that easy. Knockengorroch is absolutely, it's the most folksy, real, gutsy, earthy festival we do. But there are other festivals that score just as highly on other points. Big Green Gathering, for instance, 15,000 greenies in a field talking solar panels and still dancing their socks off is a whole different thing. We never get bored.
And it always amazes me that even though you guys are sort of open 24 hours, selling teas and coffees to people who quite often are not compass mentors wouldn't be the word to describe them. Yet it still seems to manage to go. I mean, I can't understand why it wouldn't sort of go bust with sort of far too many free teas getting put over the counter and things. But you seem to manage to stick to it.
I think it only works because the whole crew is into the thing we do. There's a spirit of Weidigans that means we're all up for making it work. So no one takes the piss, if I can say that on your radio. It seems to work on respect, and the clients, the customers, or we like to say punters, seem to react very well to that. We rarely get any trouble, which, considering the amount of psychological enhancements that might be around,
shock,
horror, is very good. Yeah.
And it's that ethos, I suppose, which makes the teas and the coffees taste just that little bit nicer, obviously.
Well, that and everything is absolutely organic. No chemicals on us, mate.
I am now watching possibly one of the most interesting things I've seen at Knockengorroch, a man making a tooth. I've just jumped to the back of the Knockengorroch to talk to Jan the dentist. Tell us about what you're doing here.
I'm repairing some Dracula fangs. The guy was waiting already half a year for it, but I hope it...
And what is this you're doing right now? You're moulding fangs out of what material? Onto a mould of the man's jaw?
Yeah. I made an impression of his jaw and a nice blue plaster model, but I have to check if the resin sets. I'm gonna try to set it again because it's a bit funny always here in the mountains.
Where do you usually practice your dentistry?
I stopped out of protest, but I used to be a high-end dental technician. That means making really fancy teeth for rich people.
How long have you been coming along to Knockengorroch and doing this for?
About 5-6 years now. And from the first moment I saw there was some really people in need for some new teeth and that sort of stuff. And I decided, let's do free dental care. So that's what I'm doing here.
Is that a blowtorch you're using to light your cigarette? Yeah. Thank you for joining us in the garden sessions. I hope the rest of your dental work goes well, and hope to see you around and about the festival later on.
No problem.
Thank you. Cheers.
This is the Garden Sessions Knockengorroch special. A very special full-length edition coming to you from Knockengorroch Farm in Dumfries and Galloway for the World Ceilidh Festival. Terrafolk have taken to the stage. I'm pretty sure it's Terrafolk.
Oh no, it is. It's Terrafolk.
It is. I mean, yeah, unless the programme's wrong. Heaven forbid.
Never.
The festival's in that kind of state of limbo, though, where the audience, the crowd, are kind of... It's Sunday night, you know, kind of hanging about. They're not quite got the energy they did on Friday. But I've got a sneaking feeling that this tune time's going to bring them back to life, and we're going to have some jumping folkies any moment.
I think they're going to be jumping. They'll be going crazy for the folk anytime now.
They're bobbing now.
The children are loving it. I'm enjoying watching the security guards try to stop them from covering the whole stage in hate.
The children have got to that point now, though, where they don't care anymore. They've lost all their inhibitions, and they're just running around. Basically, they own the place now.
There's no rules for the children anymore.
Terra folk! Well, I'm backstage with Simon Holmes, the man behind Knockengorroch, who's currently psyching himself up for the end of festival festivities. First thing I wanted to ask you about, there's this new stage, because obviously we've had fairly sort of standard festival type stages in years gone by, but this is made from scratch in the spirit of the Longhouse and Knockengorroch. I wonder if you could describe it for our listeners.
Yeah, well, describe it, it's a barn basically. We have to say it's a barn, and the stage goes in the barn, so it's a barn dance.
Alright, it's a barn, sorry, it's not a stage, it's a barn.
It's a lovely barn with a turf roof and with a stage in it, but I'm calling the stage the green stage nonetheless, because it's a green stage. It's all made of our own local timber and turf roof and homemade stage, but it's a beautiful structure, and I hope to have it standing in 100 years from now. I don't think it'll fall down. 30 tons of concrete holding it up at the bottom there, so it's a pretty massive structure, yeah.
Other than that, what changes has Knockengorroch seen since the last festival?
I think that's the main change. There's an awful lot of problems regarding bureaucracy, red tape, permission.
Because from the eyes of the punter, I have to say it looks a lot less so this year. It seems a lot more relaxed.
Well, good, because it's been an absolute nightmare, this one in particular. It's the worst nightmare since we started in 12 years. The bureaucracy and the red tape and the regulation has got worse, and it's got worse, and it's got worse, and it's going to continue to get worse. It's not going to stop here, so we're having to struggle with that. The stage went 3 times over budget on account of that. We were late. On Friday, the first 2 acts had to be cancelled because they were still, the structural engineers and the health and safety people were still not giving us the green light. We came within an inch of being an illegal festival, basically. If we'd have carried on, we'd have been an illegal festival, but we would have had no choice but to carry on, because the police announced that they would not move people from the site. So had they said that we were not a legal festival, we would have been in a position where we would have had to move people from the site, which we couldn't possibly do after having been made, after the whole organisation.
Who wants to be that person as well?
Yeah. Exactly. So we would have had to go on, and it would have been a welfare issue that we continued, and we owe it to all the people that have come from all over the country, and all the musicians, everybody that's involved. By that time, there was 1,500 to 2,000 people here already. We would have had to go ahead, and we would have probably faced some kind of prosecution.
But thankfully that didn't happen, and everything has managed to go ahead.
In a way, thankfully. I was half hoping it would. No, seriously, I was half hoping it would, because it's an issue. These issues have got to be... At some point, somebody's got to draw a line in the sand, and the reason why I say it's going to get worse is because people just accept it, and it's incremental. It doesn't happen in a big... So it's nothing dramatic about it. It's just, these people are not accountable unless we question them. And festival organisers as well, they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to be out of business.
With all of this bureaucracy that's there, I mean, it does always seem to run very smoothly. The crowd seems to understand the ethos, and again, maybe that's just the sheen that I'm seeing on the outside, but it appears to sort of work regardless of the fears that health and safety seem to have.
No, it's not the sheen. I don't believe it is. I think that after 12 years, we're finally getting it together, and it's a very well... I'm not patting myself on the back, but it's a well-organised festival, and we're doing everything we can, and we should, and probably we're better equipped to make these decisions regarding welfare and public safety than the so-called professionals. They have no real experience of it. We have experience of it because we've been doing it for 12 years. This is our 23rd, 24th, I think, festival.
And the note of the 24th festival, I believe this will be the last of the two festival year type thing, as it has gone in years by anyway. What's happening in September is a slightly different affair this year.
The Doonheim Hearth, we're calling it, and it's going to be smaller, more intimate, a big party. It's going to be a Knockengorroch festival, compressed, condensed, so it'll have everything that's good about it, and everything that's good about it in the way of music. There'll just simply be one group of venues as opposed to two groups of venues. It'll be more compressed, but it won't be any different in terms of the quality of the music and the quality of the entertainment. And
the September festival always has a slightly different feel to it anyway. It's a winding down of the summer.
It is. We need to create a new... It will be completely different. I don't want to let too much away.
And what work lies in store for you once you manage to get these many people off of the land here over the next few days?
Oh yeah, it's continuous. I mean, there'll be a week to take it down, and that's pretty sort of... I'm actually sort of relaxing a little bit because tomorrow it starts in earnest, and by Tuesday that's it. It's a week's solid hard work, tractoring and trailering, and then it's back to being a farmer again for a while, but not for long because we're planning the Doonheim Hearth, and there'll be a lot of modifications to the stage, improvements to the stage. I'm wanting, well, I don't want to, as I said, like a lot of surprises, surprises.
There's a teasing kind of angle there on what's in store for September. Thanks very much, Simon Holmes. Another fantastic festival. Monday morning is always the hardest at Knockengorroch. But following a weekend of relatively nice weather, it's not too bad removing all the tents, because you don't have to sort of slop them out of the mud as you often have to do. Carolyn,
it's been fantastic. It's been very good.
Kind of non-stop.
Very much non-stop. I'm exhausted.
I'm looking forward to a shower and some clean clothes and a bed.
Yeah, bed is the main thing. But yes, being clean would be good.
It'd be a nice start.
A very nice start.
What was your highlight, if you had to pick one moment?
I think Ewan McLennan just wandering in and saying, been told to play here, and not having a clue who he was. And then
turning out to be one of the finest musicians on the scene.
Very, very good. And last night we sat until 6 a.m. just singing. Just the two of us. There were the only two musicians left. I think we both lost our voices kind of by 6 and gave up and packed it in.
Perhaps sitting with Simon Holmes backstage last night, that was an enjoyable experience. Perhaps it was the wonderful people at Weirdigans and their endless supply of coffee. But there is obviously one noticeable absence which we haven't really alluded to at all over the course of this special Knockengorroch Garden Sessions show, which is that there ain't no Silver, there ain't no Frank, and there ain't no Tom. But come September, hopefully that'll be the case.
Well, hopefully they can all make it along, because they're missing out on an incredible festival, and they should be here.
What was it Simon said last night it was called? The Doonheim Hearth?
Doonheim Hearth, the Friends of the Longhouse. The Friends of Knockengorroch.
Exclusive festival. Well, we hope that the Garden Sessions will manage to get past the gate for that one. But yes, until then, and indeed until the next episode of the Garden Sessions, which is middle of July, with our wonderful relaunch, and everything will be even more exciting than ever before at www.gardensessions.co.uk. Contact us in the meantime at podcast@gardensessions.co.uk. And as we head off back to Edinburgh on another Knockengorroch, from myself, Jack Foster, and Carolyn O'Nona Scott, take it easy.
Cheers.